For more than 2 decades, you've been working to build what you call a culture of freedom and responsibility. And over those same 2 decades, Netflix has survived and thrived despite massive technological shifts and become one of the top tech and entertainment companies in the world. Do you believe that your success is a direct result of the culture? If so, how?
Yeah, our culture is really geared around flexibility instead of efficiency. And so we have very few rules. We're very inventive. We're on the edge of chaos. That happens sometimes, but that helps you adjust. And we had to do a lot of adjustment coming from DVD by mail in the US to then doing streaming of other people's television, sort of rerun TV. To then figure out how to break into original series and then later original movies and how to expand around the world. So now about 2/3 of our members are not in the US. So, really big successful expansions there, big successful expansions with building our studio like Stranger Things. And that's all really due to the culture, both attracting incredible people and being very flexible so that we didn't stay really focused on the DVD by mail business.
How is the pandemic changing the way you run the business and how you create a culture of maximum candor when so many people are working from home? And some CEOs like Jack Dorsey has said his employees can work from home forever. Is that okay in your book?
Well, we definitely want employees to be productive. So it's sort of however they're most productive. But I think for most of us, we want to get back into the office. We want to have human contact, have discussions and debate. And the technology of Zoom and Google are good, but it's not yet the same as being in person. So I'm sure like most companies will have more people spending more days from home. But for me, the human contact and the interaction you can do in trying to understand some challenging topic is great to be in person.
So do you think that working from home forever is an overreaction?
Well, I think there's different companies and different cultures. So I'll bet there's some that will do that. And, it'll be great for them to try that. But at Netflix, I think we're a very human company. We want to really have human interaction and that it will be better to have that be in person than only virtual.
Now, one thing I still don't quite get is how you get through a day, sometimes months, without making a decision. When's the last time you did make a big decision, and where do you still feel the need to step in?
Well, about a month ago, I made a big decision to promote Ted Sarandos to co-CEO at Netflix with me, which was a great decision. We've been working together for more than 20 years, and we have been acting as co-CEOs anyway. And we wanted to give him the recognition and the platform of really his existing role. And that's been great. So that's a big decision. But I try not to make decisions about particular titles or particular product features or particular countries or marketing campaigns. And I see myself as really the coach who's trying to stimulate, good thinking amongst all of the great players.
So when it comes to TED, co-CEO arrangements are highly unusual and they often don't work. I've covered many in tech that are not intact anymore. Why do you think this will work?
It's really dependent on the two people. It is an unusual situation. But if you think of every family, they're generally two CEOs running the family, and you just have to be really close. And Ted and I, again, have been together for more than 20 years. And with the two of us, I'm totally confident it'll work great.
The pandemic, in many ways, has played right into Netflix's hands. You're in a perfect position for this moment. That said, production has come to a halt. Projects are backing up. I'm not complaining, but it's getting a little harder to find something new to watch every night. How do you think the entertainment industry looks different when it emerges from this?
Well, it's definitely a challenge from the lack of production, particularly in the US. In Europe, we're able to go back to production, and in much of Asia. But in the US, it's still quite slow and challenging. And that's going to have an effect more next year than this year, not only for us, but for our competitors also. but everyone's figuring out how to make it work, just like if there's a writer's strike or other things that have happened over the last 50 years. And so in the long term, I think COVID is just a little blip and a historical footnote, kind of like the 1918 pandemic that we read about today.